Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rapture Recap. I'm Jalen Barnes, my lovely wife, Casey, and we're happy to have you here with us.
As always.
Again.
So we're talking about the philosophy of marriage, and Pastor Anna took the lead this morning on this, and this started out, it's a really awesome lesson.
So So marriage, topic of marriage. So here's the thing, that backstory. You and I, we minister a lot to people, and we talk about marriage a lot, which you really do. So I love hearing about the topic of marriage anytime it's being taught. And this message today, specifically this one, this is part 3 of the series. And if you go on to RaptureMinistries.org/sermons, you can listen to the previous sermons and previous teachings on this philosophy of marriage. But this one I really, really enjoyed because a lot of it was practical. And I enjoy when we start talking about marriage, and we don't just stay on the... Sometimes I think we, for lack of a better term, over-spiritualize it. We get so deep into trying to figure out how do you choose the right partner and making sure it's someone God got for you, that we leave out all the practical applications of once you are married, because you can have the person that God recommends to you and still mess it up because you don't know how to practically handle marriage, and you don't know how to handle things that you didn't talk about before you got married.
Well, one of the main keys that Pastor Anna brought today, it's important that we have knowledge and understanding about marriage and how to apply that knowledge in our marriage. Because like you said, it's not enough to, we spend a lot of time wondering who am I supposed to marry and not prepare for the marriage itself. And basically, I can just go back in our journey or my journey in preparing to become married. God took me on a study on how to be a wife. And it was learning and I was building myself up for marriage and not so much focusing on who I was going to marry. And I believe that when that time was right for me, when God saw that I was accomplished enough in this area, He brought my husband, which is you, praise God.
It works.
But we don't have enough understanding and knowledge about marriage. So we get into relationships, and I know you're gonna probably bring out. She was talking about love and marriage, and she said that love does not make a marriage work. And I know that's like what do you mean love? Because it's all about love, but if you're able to recap, what she said.
Well, I'm going to do something a little different. What I'm going to do is, because I take a lot of notes, I'm going to read just quick statements of things she made out very charging, and I'm going to ask you to break it down a little bit. We're going to go through it like that. But since you brought that one up, I'll break that one down. When she said that, she then got into talking about how a lot of times what we call love isn't love. It's a chemical reaction.
That was awesome.
And she broke it down Pastor Anna's not a scientist, but sometimes when she starts breaking that stuff down, it's like, well, duh, that's obvious.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Pastor Anna, just from experience and knowing her so well, she is a studier of the word, and she likes detail, and she goes in and she likes to break down and examine words and put all together. So I would say she's a scientist of the word.
There you go. And she broke down how a lot of times we get these chemical reactions that our bodies are designed to have when we see something beautiful. But she's like, you don't get married off of that. Because 10 years later, you don't get tired of looking at that face.
10 days later, I'll be honest. Okay.
But it was good. What she said because in 10 years, you're going to, that same face that made you fall in love, which really wasn't love, which is a chemical reaction. Suddenly, you're going to hate that face and wish you had never seen it before. And she wasn't talking about because the face changed or they got old. She was talking about all these other issues that you never discussed cropped up, and suddenly that became stronger than that chemical reaction, and suddenly you felt like I fell out of love. You were never in love in the first place. So when we talk about, love is the reason I'm getting married, that's not good enough. That's not going to make the marriage work, because you're going to run into some issues that's going to come up against your philosophy of what you think love is. And then we got into the law of love, which I would like to call true love, which is unconditional, and got nothing to do with emotions, it got nothing to do with feelings. Hopefully we'll get a chance to hit that. And if not, you guys just listen to the message, because it's really good. But one thing I want to bring up, she said was, and I want you to comment on this one, you need a plan of action for if adultery happens. And then she also said after that, you need a plan of action for money management. You need a plan of action for raising the kids. I want to talk about that. You need a plan of action for if adultery happens.
That's a good one. And I can only go back to how we started when we started courting one another, and we sat down and we talked about those things, like what were we going to do. And I know a lot of people feel like, well, you can't plan for those things, or you shouldn't plan for those things. Well, here's the thing: for you and I, marriage is forever. We knew that coming into our relationship, that marriage is forever. We're not going to make an opportunity for divorce whatsoever. So whatever came across our marriage table, we were going to deal with it. And that's founded in this law of love that we go deeper into, that Pastor Diana brought out tonight or this morning, the law of love. So we realize that no matter what comes, if it's adultery, and people say, well, if you cheat on me, then I'm just out the door. What we decided to do was not make any contingency clauses on our love or out into one another. We weren't going to say, well, if you cheat on me, I'm gone. First of all, before we make any decisions about what we're going to do, we're going to consult the Word of God first. We're going to consult the love of God first and foremost. And if it led to us to party, it's going to be after we have done everything the Word said to do. Because Pastor Dan also said, no matter how messed up your relationship may seem right now, it is always fixed. It's always opportunity for God to fix it. It's always fixable.
Yeah, she said there's nothing that's irreparable.
There's nothing
no marriage is irreparable.
It's not.
If both people are willing to come together and do the Word of God, you can fix it. It will work. And you made a statement about people may say you're supposed to have, you shouldn't have to plan for that. Well, think of this. God had a plan for our redemption right after Adam and Eve fell. So he had a plan for redemption that was based on his love, that was unconditional. So he didn't create man and say, I'm only going to have this covenant with you so long as you don't mess up, so long as you don't eat this fruit, so long as you don't betray me. No, he had a plan of action available to redeem them, and that plan was love. It says that Jesus was God's love manifested, and he had that plan of action available because it was that just in case. It was, if you fail me, my unconditional love is going to redeem you.
And I think when you don't have a plan, it keeps you from creating the proper boundaries. Because if you don't have listen, we know sin is in the devil is real, people. I have to say that the devil is real. And just like God has a plan for your life, the devil has a plan for your life to steal, kill, and destroy. And especially whatever God puts together, his whole mission is to destroy it. And if you believe that God put you and your spouse together, please understand that the devil is going to do everything he can. So there's nothing that he will not try. And so you cannot get into, oh, he's a good person, I know he would never do that, or she's a good person, she would never do that. The devil will seek every crack that you have in your life to try to steal, kill, and destroy your marriage.
There's a word, and I want to say it's temptation, but in the Greek when it translates, it actually translates to pressure. It's some word that has to do with sin or temptation or trials or tribulations. So when you think about pressure, when you put something or somebody under pressure, that's making them react or do something in a way that they wouldn't normally do. So you got someone with fortitude and with strength, but you put enough pressure on them, they may break, they may crack, they may lose their structure, their superstructure, the thing that makes them who they are, their character. Enough pressure applied, and that's what the devil does. That's what he does with sin. He applies so much pressure to try to get you to crack and get you to fail. That's why we need Jesus to succeed and to not sin. That's why we need grace.
And that's why we need education and learn how to apply the law of love in our marriage, because when you come under pressure, when the temptations come, because they will come, you will get under pressure. We know how to go to the law of love. We know how to apply the law of love to our relationship. And that's why you cannot be married for feelings, because our feelings change. And it, like my pastor said, it's a chemical reaction to something. Because today I'm all lovey-dovey with you. I feel for you. And then tomorrow it could be all gone, depending on what's pressuring me at that moment. So if I live my life on how I feel all the time, I'm gonna always have a yo-yo results in my relationship, and therefore ultimately leave my relationship up for divorce.
Let's try this one. Pastor Diana made this statement: to be a wife is to be mentally prepared for marriage before you leave home.
Absolutely. Well, the wife anointing, that is a position that you gain before marriage. The Bible says that he that findeth a wife, I think sometimes we don't really slow down and read the words. He that findeth a wife, not a good woman, not a girl, a wife. So that means wife is a position that you gain in God prior to marriage. It's not once you say I do at the altar. It's not what you write on that paper. It's not the license. It is something that you already are. So that means that it is something that you grow into, you develop into. I kind of relate it to sonship. There's a level of relationship that we get with God where we develop into sons of God, where we can be used by God, where God can trust you with the works of the kingdom. So when you come to that wife position, that means God has dubbed you able to trust you with another man, a vision. And that's very important. So I would spend less time praying about my husband, like who he is, and spend more time developing and being a wife, because once you become a wife, a husband will find you.
And Pastor Dana made a statement. I know I wrote it down. I just don't see it right now. But she said, you've got people who spend 20 years. She talked about people not being productive Christians. And she said, you need to be a productive Christian before you get married. And this is on the male or female side. Yeah. She said, you get people looking for a mate this entire time, spend 20 years doing that, and they were never productive. And that's out of order. Instead of spending so much time searching down, trying to track down a mate, spend time being productive. Exactly. And that will attract the person that God needs to connect you with to take it to the next level. Because when you get married, there's supposed to be even more productivity happening. So if you get two productive Christians together, what's the point of that? That's not a marriage that God can get behind and can support and protect. Let's see here. Here's a good one. I like this one. We're trying to ask God to help us with knowledge that's already in the earth. So, in other words, get the knowledge. And when for context, Pastor Anna was talking about, it's not about the affection. You need knowledge in order, supply the application of knowledge to make marriage work. And she was saying, we're trying to ask God for knowledge that He's already put in the earth. And we need to not be lazy and go after that knowledge and learn. She was saying if there's a pastor or a teacher who has a gift in their life for teaching about marriage, those are the resources you want to chase down. If there's practical things you need to learn for the sake of your marriage about finances, you need to find those books and read those books and bone up on that financial knowledge. There's so much knowledge available on the earth, and we're asking God to do, I think what we're really asking God to do is to come and save us without us doing it, not having to apply ourselves to anything. We want to come and fix our relationships. But there's so much knowledge available that God put in the earth, God-given knowledge that we're just not applying.
I mean, and I know for you and I, we are avid studiers of marriage. Yeah. We've been doing that since day one. And it's really helped us. And I know all of the pressured times that we've experienced so far in our short time being married. Yeah. I believe that we've been able to get ahead of them a lot quicker and sooner than some, because it was like we hit the ground learning about marriage, and we submitted ourselves to men and women that have an anointing for marriage, because the information is out there. The understanding, the wisdom of God for marriage is out there. We have to seek it. We have to want it. There is no such thing as, well, I got to learn for myself and I got to go.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Exactly. Go to someone who has experience with God in marriage
and
successful marriage, and learn from them, glean from them, and gain that knowledge and understanding, so you know what to do. I mean, this simple, and you'd be surprised how simple the application is. Communication, learning how to talk to one another, understanding how a man thinks, understanding how a woman thinks, understanding our love language. That's a big one. That we learned, and it was like, once we learn those things, it's no longer a struggle anymore. And it helps us to not be so self-centered and selfish, and to be all about me, and understanding that if I focus on you and how I'm supposed to relate to you, and you're doing the same back unto me, it makes our relationship more fruitful, and neither one of us go lacking. We don't go suffering in our relationship, and it just brings so much more harmony and peace.
Isn't that our relationship with God?
Yes.
Isn't it? I'm concerned about God's business, winning souls. He's concerned about meeting my needs.
Exactly the
same. So let's say me in marriage, if I'm concerned about meeting all the needs that I'm supposed to meet unto you as a husband unto a wife, and you're concerned with meeting all the needs as a wife unto a husband, no one goes without. Exactly. No one's suffering. Exactly. That we can come in agreement and say, this is what we're going to commit to do, meet each other's needs as a husband and wife are supposed to, then that marriage will work.
Exactly.
To close out, I really want to get into this love. I'm going to read a couple different statements and then we can just go into it about what love actually is and the law of love, as Pastor Diana was getting into it. Love is a force generated by decision. Yes. It doesn't have feelings. It's a choice. Love is an act of the will. You will yourself to love someone despite how you feel or how they're treating you. Love is a law. Laws have no feelings. Laws work when they are applied correctly.
I like that.
And the law of love must be instituted for marriage to work. The law of love does not change.
I like that one, the one that love has no feelings, and love, the law works when applied correctly.
Yeah, the law of love will work.
So I'm so glad of that, because there's been plenty of times where I didn't feel like forgiving you. I didn't feel like acting right. I didn't feel like saying the right things. But I implemented the law of love, and because the law works when it's applied correctly, I got a God kind of result out of the situation. So it's important. It's like gravity. I mean, what goes up must come down. It's a law that's in effect all the time. You don't have to feel gravity. It's just going to happen because it's a law.
So what is the law of love? Love is a choice and decision. Love is unconditional. Love means I'm going to do it no matter how I feel. As far as the benefits, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, he will reap. You sow that love, you'll reap it in return. See, God loved us first, and then he gave us the ability to love him back. And when you think about, well, how far does this love go? How unconditional is it? You got to look at what God did. See, God loved us to the point where, and I want to read it just as it was given, but as Pastor Anna said it, but when God loved us, here it is, God gave everything for us, all of heaven, all of earth. He gave all of himself for us. See, Jesus was God in the flesh, so God died for us. He gave himself for us. And Pastor Dan started talking about value, how you value someone.
Yes.
And value is simply how much you're willing to pay for somebody else, how much of yourself you're willing to give for somebody else. So God gave himself. From God's perspective, he values us as much as he values himself.
And that's a good one.
We have our value is God.
That's a good one.
And I didn't come up with that. God came up with that. Pastor Dana said that. You're worth God.
Exactly.
Because he's willing to give all of himself. So in the context of marriage, applying the same law of love that God did to redeem mankind, and I'm looking at you, you're worth my life. There's no greater love than this, that a man will lay down his life for his friend. I'm willing to give my life for you. That's what God was willing to do for me. If that's what love is unconditionally, no matter what you do, no matter what you betray me, no matter what vows you may break, I'm willing to give my life for you, to lay down my life for you. That is unconditional love. And I remember Dr. David said this a week ago. That's the kind of love that we're aspiring to, that agape love. And it's a progression of getting there because we never practiced that love.
Yeah.
But you can look at God to see the origin of it and to see how he did it. Whatever God was willing to do for me, that's what I can be willing to do for you. And I can spend all the years of our marriage progressing at that, getting better at that. That's my assignment. I can spend the rest of my life learning how to love you the way that God loves me. And that'll make a good marriage right there if I spend my life doing that. I think
the devil has done an awesome job of making us scared to do that because a lot of us have been in relationships of different kinds, not just marriage, but father-daughter relationships, father-son, mother-daughter. You know, there's somebody of great importance have disappointed us. So it creates this this level of fear and caution that we live by. So we never want to give ourselves too much to one person because we feel like we're going to be hurt and let down. But if you would just allow yourself to trust God and apply this law of love in any situation, and not just marriage, but parent, child, whatever relationship, and practice this law of love and apply it right, the love of God is so magnanimous. It's hard to describe in words the power that it has to rearrange and reconstruct something that seems like it's broken and useless and just destroyed. God can find all those dusty little pieces and bring it back together and make it something totally brand new, something you never experienced before. And, you know, we're still young in marriage, but I can just say that over the almost 3 years we've been together, I've learned to become more selfless towards you, and it has been freeing to me in myself because I let go those fears and those walls of insecurity that I had and just decided that, you know what, I'm gonna give everything. And God steps in and he honors that kind of love. I believe God really does.
And that's the key right there, because you can't go into marriage with self-preservation on your mind. But the fear is, if I give you this love, Pastor Anna said this, it's giving the love to someone no matter how you feel or how they're treating you, and not expecting them to give it back to you the way that you're giving it. That's true unconditional love. And the fear that people have of doing that is that if I give you all this love and this, and I give up myself and I don't try to protect myself, I'm not so vulnerable, you're gonna hurt me back. And that can happen. That's sort of the risk. But you got to understand, God is not mocked. Whatever man sows reaps. God is governing that harvest. When you operate the law of love, he's the one governing that harvest, not your spouse. So even if your spouse is handling it wrong, God is the one that's in charge of making sure that you reap back the harvest of love that you've given. And if you look in the Bible, I'm not going to get into it, but you can look in the Bible to different people, even in marriage relationships, who probably handled that, and how God intervened and circumvented certain situations to make sure that person was properly taken care of in that marriage relationship. And if you would study that out, you would realize there's no reason to be afraid. God is governing your harvest.
There is no fear in love. There's no torment in love. No. So if you're walking in the perfect love of God, and let's say you have a spouse that isn't online yet, they've being worked on, but if you're walking in love, there's no fear, there's no torment. You can still have peace. I've seen it. I've heard testimonies. I've seen marriages that have been shattered come back together because one spouse decided to operate in love, and then it affected the other spouse, and now both of them walking in love, and then their marriage is being used for the glory of God. I've seen this over and over and over again, but we gotta understand that there's no fear in love. God has not given a spirit of fear, but of power and love. Power and love. Love is the most powerful force there is.
Yeah. In Galatians 5:22, Pastor Dana went there with all the fruit of the Spirit. She was saying, love is what ensures the rest of it.
Yes.
If you have love, then you can have the joy and the peace and long suffering and on and on and on. Love is going to ensure all of that fruit being developed, because since love does operate by feelings, the other things don't either. And so no matter what's going on, you can have that peace in a marriage that seems to be in turmoil when you're operating the law of love. You can be sure of the end result. So this is an awesome series that we're on. And there's so much more revelation here that we didn't even touch on. But if you want to understand how to fix your marriage, or if you're about to get married and you want to understand how not to mess it up.
So let me encourage you. If you're dating right now, if you're engaged, if you're listen. Get on this word. Yeah. Get on this word and get your life shored up with the love of God. Get understanding about marriage. Get understanding about how to relate to your spouse be prior to marriage. Learn about yourself and the things that you need to work on before marriage. It's going to make for a better marriage. It's going to make you more successful, and it's just better. If you have the opportunity to do it right, do it right. You don't have to fail. Who said that all marriages work when they're done.
Yeah, there's a gentleman named Pastor Jimmy Evans that says marriages work 100% of the time when they're done God's way.
That's right, 100% of the time. There's a 100% success rate in marriage when it's done God's way.
Yeah. So you can't fail if you operate this law of love. You can't fail. It's a law.
That's right.
It's a law. Laws don't change. They don't make laws. They don't fail. Like gravity. You say what goes up must come down. Exactly. You operate this law of love. Success is on the other side of that. If you want to hear this message that we were just talking about, Philosophy of Marriage Part 3 is what it's called. It will be available for streaming online on Rapture Ministries website and on SoundCloud and iTunes and YouTube later this week. So what you want to do is text Rapture to 797979. Again, that's the word Rapture, RAPTURE, to 797979. You'll get a text message alerting you when that sermon is available for you to stream it to listen to. And you'll want to hear, like I said, it's chock full of revelation. 40 minutes of just awesome Word of God, God-based,
and it's completely free. Why not?
Completely free. It costs us to give it to you, but it doesn't cost you to receive it. But if you're someone who's been receiving, you've been a part of RaptureGO, and you want to financially partner with this ministry, once again, RaptureMinistries.org, there's a give button where you give securely through PayPal. There are some people who have already signed up for that, and on even a monthly basis are tithing and giving into this ministry. And we appreciate everyone who does and are getting results doing it. If you're one of those people, you want to tap into this rich vein of revelation in your life and want that grace to receive on you, then by all means, give into this ministry.
Amen.
I'm a success case to let you know that it does work. But either way, we love you and we appreciate you. We want to continue to pour the word into you. So please sign up for RaptureGO. It doesn't cost you anything to do. Text Rapture to 797979 so we can continue to do what we love, what we enjoy, which is pouring the word of God into your life and transforming your lives and train you to win at life, in your marriage, in your finances, in your body, and everything. So we love you. We thank you for watching this week's Rapture Recap, and we'll see you on Sunday.